Jonesy, this podcast is brought to you by a couple of our best friends.
Yes. Number one, numero uno on that list is obviously the good people at Ned's. But coming into second, get excited about this, Drifters. There is a Group 1 tipping comp that is launching on the day of recording this podcast, which is the 18th of September. Group 1 tipping comp, free to enter, big prize money on offer. Jeez, get excited. Tell your friends. Pass it around. The more the merrier.
Absolutely. Getting back to our good people at Ned's this weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can do everything you want there. You can bet on the nose, the place, the Ned's same-game race multis, which are all a hell of a lot of fun, but there's also the profiles.
Yes, there are the profiles, and if you've been keeping an eye on mine and one Daniel Hutchins, we've been speccing some things in futures markets. There's one that I highlight that's running in the Bill Ritchie handicap this weekend. That is a big price for the Epsom handicap. So you'll have to listen to find out, but big thanks to the people at Ned's as always.
I have one at $51 in the Caulfield Guineas, Prelude, that I'll be putting on my profile in due time as well. So you'll have to listen if you want to get on, or just follow us on our profiles.
Absolutely. It's exciting stuff because I tell you what, the Group 1's a little bit underwhelming.
But have a look at our show notes right now if you want to enter the Group 1 Tippicom. Don't delay. Free to enter to win big.
Let's go.
But what are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Mr. Brightside fins them up and wins again. Zardozi wins the Oaks for J-Mac. The photo finish. Mr. Brightside or Romantic Warrior. The mare's going great guns. Fangirl. Look at her go. Fangirl. Imperatrice has got her. And raced on by Imperatrice by a length.
Overpass. More Baker's Delight in Perth.
Radina just won it, I'd say. Tom Kedden won the spring champion in a cakewalk. Without a fight, won the Caulfield Cup.
Mate, I've actually forgotten, but our girl, Thesecondofportsea, resumes this weekend.
She sure does, yeah. Gold Coast, Pink Ribbon Day down the coast. So it's the feature Queensland meeting for the Saturday. She's in the time-honoured, I think it's benchmark 80
to kick off the Sky Racing benchmark 80 or race 3, the K2 Law benchmark 75 over 2,200 metres. Both of them worth the same amount of money.
Which surely there should be a scale. Like, I'm not complaining because this is our horse and this is the level she's at.
Yeah. But
there should be a scale.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Basically, all the benchmark races in Brisbane are worth 85 grand. I'm not complaining. It's nice prize money coming in. But yeah, I think all of them are pretty much $85,000 races on the card. The benchmark 70 race 2 is 70,000. So there's somewhat of a scale, but yeah, a bit weird. She's drawn perfect in both.
Yeah, perfect.
Barrier 3, barrier 4. She loves those low barriers.
Yeah.
Jake Bayless takes the ride this time. Never really don't know much of Jake's work.
I'm sure he's related to Regan. But no, he's one of the better ones up here, I'd say. So we've got one that's 1,800 metres and one that's 2,200 metres. What would you prefer to see?
What was she last start? 22? 2,000. Yeah, 22. See if she runs it.
Yeah. Because it gets awfully thin past 2,000 metres up here in Queensland. And if she can run it, time to R&P.
Onto the Toowoomba Cup.
Oh, God, I'd actually die from a heart attack if we won a race like that.
That would be unbelievable. And unfortunately, we might not be there because, it is the AFL Grand Final day, unfortunately, the Toowoomba Cup. So we might be predisposed.
Mm-hmm. There's still a pulse?
There is. But what are your thoughts on this weekend of racing? I think it's pretty solid.
Solid. Not as good as last week. And I'd also say that we talk a lot about Group 1 status on this podcast, and the Underwood is very underwhelming, I would say. Group 2 at best. But, hey, still money to be made.
Yeah, there is. I think there's some key lead-ups with the Caulfield Guineas, the Golden Rose, the Flight Stakes. So I think it's moving day in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
I think those markets will definitely change. And I've won at enormous odds later on. You're going to have to wait to listen. It could possibly be the last race that we cover. It could be. But before we get into any of that, you have an update for me about a certain tipping competition.
I do. So exciting news, Drifters. We're ready to go. Tonight we'll be, post this podcast, we might even do a straight to stories. We'll officially go live with the tipping competition. And what I mean by that is we'll go live with a website where you can sign up. Super easy, on thedriftpodcast.com. There's no .au on it, is there? No, just on thedriftpodcast.com. Basically, open that up and you'll come to a landing page which will give you the details of the tipping competition and the associated rules. And all you need to do is put in your first name, your last name, and your email address, and then submit that. And bang, done. You've signed up. Should take you 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
2 minutes.
30 seconds at most.
At most, depending on your internet. Like some of these folks could have dial-up.
Yeah, that's true. So let me walk you through it, right? You pause this podcast right now.
Pause it right now.
Now, there will be a link in the show notes right now for where you're listening, whether you're watching on YouTube or whether you are listening via your podcasting app that you choose to listen to.
Yep.
You open up your show notes or you open up Google, www.onthedriftpodcast.com, and it literally cannot be easy for you.
Literally, we spell it out for you.
Yeah. And so your first name, last name, email, you should know those three things. You hit send and bang, you're in the database. Next week's the first one?
Yep, next week's the first race. So Manocado Stakes, which is the Friday night, the 27th of September. So we've got a cutoff date of Wednesday, 7 p.m. next week in order to sign up for the competition. More details are on the website, but you'll start seeing emails coming through from SurveyMonkey once you've registered, which is how you submit your tips. It's really, really straightforward. Free entry.
Similar to, I guess, like a footy tipping comp, you'd say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you've done that before, it'll be that easy.
So we'll send you weekly reminders on a Wednesday, and there's clear cut-off times.
Yep.
Between when you can submit that, and we will have like all the timing records on our system. So if you get in after that time, your votes or your tips won't count. So make sure you read the rules on the Group 1 tipping comp page. But it is really simple.
It is really, really simple.
Free to enter.
Yep.
So tell your mates.
Yep. The more the merrier. Honestly,
Yeah.
free to enter. You've got a free swing. Potentially winning $1,000.
1,000? Are we that generous?
That's how generous we are.
After we pay for our accounting fees today. And the taxman taketh.
The taxman taketh. Sometimes the taxman returneth.
Yeah.
But not always.
No.
So we're really excited. The more the merrier. We want this to be as big as possible. Let's see who's the best Group 1 tipper out there. Maybe you'll see a sighting from the Sydney Source and the Victorian Victim. They might partake.
They might. I think that would be nice.
Yep, absolutely.
So I guess, get involved. Your chance to win $1,000 of our hard-earned from the good people at Ned's in your bank account by the end of the spring. I think the last day is Champions Day.
Yeah, last day is Champions Day. So from memory, that is the 7th of November, I believe. Something like that.
Get around it, Drifters. Don't muck around. This is your chance.
You've got a week to sign up.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. You've got a week to sign up, but you can literally ping this to as many of your mates as you like. Look, if they're interested in horse racing, fantastic. They don't have to be. If this gets them interested in horse racing, I think it's done its job.
3, 2, 1.
Yep.
So 3 points for first, 2 points for seconds, 1 point for third. If you tip something at double figure odds with the starting price with Neds, has to be with Neds because they are our best friends.
Yep.
You get double points for first.
Yep.
So there is an incentive to kind of tip one at odds as well.
Absolutely. So, I think that's pretty much it, Drifters. But if you've got any questions, let us know. But we really do spell it out for you.
Yeah, we really do.
Like, if you're not understanding...
Can't really help you,
I don't think you should have access to the internet, to be honest.
let alone a betting account.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, that's a Group 1 tipping comp. Should we get to the preview of the Group 1 race?
We should.
Group 1 race.
The only other thing that I wanted to speak to you about, you flagged with me during the week, do you want to talk about top 5 3-year-olds?
I do. It's at the top of my list here.
Is it?
I just completely disregarded
completely
it.
glossed over
This
it.
might be a long podcast, but that's okay.
Yeah, we'll rattle through this.
It's two mates catching up and you're just listening.
Yep.
All right. How's this list of 3-year-olds, right? In no particular order. Manal, Linebacker, Growing Empire, Autumn Glow, Broadsiding, Traffic Warden, Stormboy, Lady of Camelot, Hayasugi. That is a pretty good crop of 3-year-olds we have here.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I'm just going to get straight into it. I think top of the tree is Broadsiding.
So number 1?
He's number 1, despite having not raced as a 3-year-old. Jeez, I like to look at that trial this week. And trials aren't everything, but he's a guy who I have utmost confidence that he's going to come back as a 3-year-old, even better as a 2-year-old, because he ran so recently.
Yep.
Up here.
Yeah.
So you can't go so far back from that run that he had in the JJ. And he's giving me, he's not Animo, obviously not, but he's giving me those sort of vibes. He's going to be running in a Cox Plate if he goes well this prep. And any 3-year-old who can feature in a Cox Plate, for me, is automatically number 1.
Yep.
In my humble.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. I'll go the other way then. Top 5, so starting at number 5, I think you have a good colt is better than a good filly.
Yeah.
And the second best filly, I think, is Autumn Glow. So I have her at number 5. I think she wins the Flight Stakes.
Yeah, okay. She's in my top 5 as well, absolutely. If she's a second-seeded filly,
well,
who's the numero uno?
I have Hayasugi at number 2. And I don't have Lady of Camelot in there.
No, I think Hayasugi's better.
I don't have Manal in there.
I don't have Manal in there.
So I was thinking of 2 ways, right? I think, all right, Flight Stakes fillies. I think Autumn Glow's the best of them. And then alternative form reference, I've seen Hayasugi at Way for Age step up against and be better, way more competitive in that Moya Stakes.
Yep.
Although the margin wasn't huge, but she ran super.
Yeah.
Absolutely outstanding.
I think so. And particularly at Moonee Valley where it doesn't necessarily suit, you know what I mean? For how she's sort of been running. Oh yeah, I've got Hayasugi and Autumn Glow as my only 2 fillies in the top 5. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
and we know where Broadsiding is for me, so it leaves only 2 spots.
Broadsiding for me is number 4. Purely because we haven't seen him as a 3-year-old. We've seen him for some exhibition gallops.
I could be by the end of this spring. I could be in love. I could be in love.
You could be wearing a broadsiding hat in a couple of years.
I really could be. I really could be.
The son of Street Boss 2.0.
Yeah.
So broadsiding for me, he's obviously he's the number 1 seed for a 3-year-old. This 3-year-old crop heading towards a Cox Plate. Although I'm going to mention one later. Not in this list, not even in that short list of short lists. Like, this horse is on the way up, but in that Caulfield Guineas preview, or Prelude, whatever it is, he's one to watch out for.
Yeah.
But broadsiding, yeah, I think he's established his 2-year-old status and his trials have been super, so I think he deserves a slot in the top 5. So we have 2 more slots here.
So I've got to have Growing Empire in there for me. If the best 3-year-old, in my opinion, needs to be a Cox Plate horse, I think you could argue the second best needs to be running in an Everest and need to be a competitive chance in an Everest, or at least a number 1 seed for a Coolmore Stud Stakes.
Yeah, and we won't see Autumn Glow in a Cox Plate, but I could see the daughter of Autumn's son, like being competitive in there as a 4-year-old mare. And it's like, sure, this is a 3-year-old but, she runs like she'll run out a Cox Plate easy.
Yep.
So I've got 2, basically that's the way I did it as well. I'm like 1 colt and 1 filly who I believe could run in a Cox Plate, and then the other 3 I believe would be very competitive, not winning an Everest.
Yep.
So Growing Empire was number 3 for me. So I had Hayasugi just ahead of him, just on form to date, and I had Traffic Warden number 1.
Yeah. Well, from what you saw him resuming, he spanked them.
Yeah. I think he wins the Golden Rose and then he runs top 3 in an Everest.
Yeah. For me, I had him just over Stormboy as well. And the reason being is they've met how many times? 3 times, is it now? And Traffic Warden's 2-1. And both times put him to the sword. And what I like about Traffic Warden as well, we've seen him lead. We've seen him lead when he won the size produce down in Flemington. We've seen him come from the back of the field off a pretty sedate pace and put him to the sword. And as a 2-year-old, whatever he did then was just a bonus. I think he'll make a better 3-year-old. Stormboy's just outside of the top 5 for mine. Drifters, I think at his best, he can probably beat most of them. From what we've seen of him, though, he's missed the start like 3 times, and he's a bit one-dimensional. I'm not saying he can't win a Group 1. He definitely can. He could win the Golden Rose, but I think more things need to go right for him than they do for Traffic Warden.
Traffic Warden's more versatile.
That's the word that would surmise it perfectly. But still, the fact that a horse like Stormboy, who we were like walking around with a semi-chub like during the autumn.
We were like linebacker.
Yeah, exactly. We were like linebacker. The fact that he's not in the top 5 goes to show there's some serious depth. And there's some others that could pop out of the ground in the next few weeks.
Absolutely, they can. So that's probably a far too early best top 5 3-year-old list. And so in my order, I had Autumn Glow at number 5, Broadsiding number 4, Autumn Growing Empire at number 3, Hayasugi at number 2, and Traffic Warden top of the tree.
Yeah, okay. So in the number 5 slot for me, I've got Autumn Glow as well, and that could change very, very quickly. In the 4th spot for me, I've got Hayasugi, and then number 3, Traffic Warden. Number 2 is my guy, Growing Empire. I think he's a superstar. And number 1, Broadsiding.
You have a horse that hasn't even run at 3.
But he's better.
Sure.
I think he's better.
So if we were doing a top 5 horses in the country list, right, would Without a Fight be the number 1 slot because he's going first up into a Melbourne Cup?
If he can even get on the track first up into a Melbourne Cup, and if
hasn't run for 12 months, but he's the best horse in the country.
He could. I tell you what, he could honestly, go into that first up and run top 4 as the Dobby quite comfortably.
What, 58 or 58 and a half?
One of those.
Yeah.
Very compressed weights. It'll be in the Melbourne Cup this year.
Yeah.
Like Broadsiding's my number 1, and until he fails, he will continue to be so. He can win that Golden Rose first up. He's a star. You know what I'm like? You know what I'm like with some?
Yep.
Got to stick to my guns.
He's one of yours.
He's one of mine.
All right. I like it. Let's get into the Underwood. The underwhelming Underwood. Race 8 at Caulfield. Now, Weatherman Dan, what might you say? Bit cold this week with a little bit of rain. Similar to last week.
Any hail?
I don't think there's hail around. Good 4 at the moment, the track rating. I think it might get into the soft 5, soft 6 range at worst. Not a lot of rain, but it's just the weather. It's dross down there. Bloody cold. Not Queensland weather. So, and the rail is out 6 metres. So, this time of year, that's pretty normal. So, 1,800 metres, Group 1, weight for age contest. Now, you commented on this. I think this is a full credit to Godolphin because they've came out and said that this is Pericles' grand final. It's a very winnable Group 1.
It is. Yeah, it is.
He's the $3.20 favourite. Placed to Carousel. Fascinating.
Very fascinating.
Haven't really seen too much of her. She's had the 2 runs in Australia. She was super first up, placing... I'm looking at the wrong horse. Placing second behind Via Sistina in the Ram Vet. And then she it just wasn't her day in the Queen Elizabeth, I don't think.
Put a line through that race.
Yeah. So, and what did you make of the trial if you saw it? I thought it was okay.
Yeah, pass mark.
Yeah.
Pass mark.
So how did you read the race?
Oh, a lot of benchmark 100 things in here. You're right about Pericles. This is his grand final. So he's fully wound up. I look at some of these others and I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, does them not being fully wound up, is them at 90, 95% better than Pericles at 100%? That's the question you've got to ask yourself about this race. And the horses that come to mind are Place to Carousel, like you said, and also like a Faulkner Park. I think Faulkner Park's very good. And he's one I gave a lot of consideration to, mostly because of how much he improved during his prep last time in. And if he's going to take any further improvement from that, then he's going to be in for a great spring. But I know for a fact that he's got bigger fish to fry.
He does. And I don't think he 100% appreciates a little bit of cut in the ground, if that is like that.
The best run we've seen from him was the Q22. And what was the deck doing that day?
It was rock hard.
And he accelerated like a good horse.
Yeah. I think from Faulkner Park this weekend, you'll see the without a fight run this week. Like running into 6th or 5th, like first up, on his way to a Caulfield Cup. He's already in the race. Like, he won't be fully wound up here.
Would be happy to see him win, but I'm happy to let him go around without me today.
Absolutely.
On this day.
Tell you what, there's a horse here who was in and around Faulkner Park in the Q22 in the Doomben Cup, won the Doomben Cup, Bois d'Argent. Last 12 months, this horse has been very consistent.
He has.
He's been very good, and I think he actually races better when the speed's on. He'll probably be leading. I have him leading this field in the speed map that I drew up. Like, I don't think there's that much speed in this race at all. Potentially Buckaroo might be up there. I think they kind of unlocked something with him last start, but I kind of see him leading, Buckaroo maybe the next one, and then potentially a horse like Place to Carousel getting the run of the race sort of stuff. So yeah, I don't... And I was looking at where Pericles drew, Barry 11, Blake Shin, 11 of 13. That doesn't read that great, but honestly, I could see Pericles being 3 wide, no cover, up, in about 5th in running. And I reckon that could actually be the place to be. If it is a bit of a soft track, you probably want the wider ground. And we've seen Barclay Square style, these middle distance races can be run at sedate speeds, and you don't need cover.
No, you don't. And he's got Blake Shin on. So, he's my guy, Pericles. He beat Miramaster and Pounding Home last start. And yeah, it was a dominant win, but it had to be. It had to be. I don't want to dive into $3.20 with the good people at Nez with Pericles.
It is short, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you going where I think you're going?
Where do you think I'm going?
The Enigma? He has good form first up. Second up, he nearly won an Epsom. Kovalica. Damien Lane's on.
I couldn't possibly. He ran super first up, though.
He did. He nearly won an Epsom second up.
He did.
This is his first time on his Melbourne leg. Fascinating.
It is.
Makes me think he might be on a Cups campaign.
Oh, God, imagine that.
Who would have thought that?
Who would have thought that? I did look at Kovalica. I'm not going to lie. I just couldn't bring myself.
All right. Drifters, Brad Tyson, Kovalica. The short ball, Kovalica, on his way to a Cups double.
Holy shit.
Cooper both, Kovalica. They're all wanting Kovalica, mate.
Oh,
Ben Carroll, Kovalica.
They are braver men than I.
Mate, he's $9.
Oh, it's a backable price.
Very backable. 1,800 metres. I think I would hope you'd find he's been trained as a stayer this prep.
God.
Okay. So where are you heading? I don't know where you're heading now.
Oh, I'm with Place to Carousel. For me, I think these would dream of winning a Group 1 overseas. I think these would dream of running second to Via Sistina in a Ranvet Stakes. So if you put a line through a Queen Elizabeth run, which was weird. Like, she's also a Group 2 winner over there, a Group 3 winner. And this is 2,000 metres, 2,400 metres. But like you said, I think she gets the run of the race with Mark Zara from gate 5. And I think her brilliance will just be better than these. I'm reading Vow and Declare. I'm reading Muna Mec. I'm reading Bois d'Argent. I'm reading a lot of these, and I'm thinking to myself, fucking hell. Pretty sure I gambled on a benchmark 100 race a few weeks ago, and most of these were in it.
The Varley Black Caviar.
Do you know what I mean, though?
I know what you mean, mate. Yes, of course I do.
And like, the fact that I'm getting $4.80 with her, with Ned's compared to with all due respect, my guy, Pericles, son of Street Boss, is $3.20. Like, come on, man.
I'm convinced Pericles, the Epsom, is still his race. I'm convinced. With all due respect to Godolphin and James Cummins.
1,800 metres, weight for age, dropping back to 1,600 metres, like, with probably a pretty fair weight. Yeah. He can win that race. But there's something running this weekend that I think can win it, that I have in futures if you looked at my Ned's profile, Drifters, at 31s.
Hello.
So we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, of course we will.
Yeah.
See, that's where this weekend of racing is good. Futures markets. I think it's unlocking a few things. All right,
Fascinated to see what you think about this race.
I've got Kovalica on top. Fuck
Gonna?
it. Fuck it.
God.
He owes us a couple.
He does. A significant amount.
So, he had to win. What was it? The Dermot Cup, and he ran 6th. So
That's what I mean. He
know.
had to win that.
Yeah.
But that was gross though. That entire last prep.
It was
Just
just
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 starts.
Yeah, I know.
I wish we could wipe that from existence. No, honestly though, because then you're looking at his profile and he's had 14 starts for 6 wins, a second and 4 thirds, and you're thinking to yourself, 11 from 14 for a horse we better out over further. This is a serious threat.
Mate, I'm basically writing out everything after his Epsom run to date. That's what I'm doing, and basically putting back in his first up run because it was super. His second up run in the spring, he ran, how much did he have there? 54 kilos in the Epsom, and he was beaten 0.1 of a length to Red Dina.
Yeah, I know, I remember.
Yeah, because your boy was on. And that was grand final day as well. Very memorable day for so many different reasons. But you look back to that, prior to that, like in his 3-year-old season, he absolutely brained him in a Queensland Guineas as well. Like, I think he has the second up form. I think that I saw enough from him first up. He has, on his day, he has the class to beat all these, I think. So I'm siding with him and Damien Lane's the type of jockey to get this horse humming. Yeah. So I'm happy to be in Kovalica's camp. The lack of speed does concern me. I think it does set up well for Pericles and Testa Carousel from that point of view, and by Dargent. So he's basically the only backmarker that I think can win the race.
Yeah. My clear second selection is Buckaroo. I think just the gelding operation, like, who did he beat last start? Hedged? Goo. But
Hinged,
sorry, not hedged. Fucking hell. But the Magic Man on gate 10, he'll roll forward.
Yeah.
1,800 metres. Would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Not surprise me at all. So Testa Carousel on top for me.
6 rides for the Magic Man.
Yes. Well, he's good.
Yeah, he's filled up. Like J-Mac only had 2 at Flemington last week.
Buckaroo into second. Pericles into third. And then I think Fortuna Park is going to flash home for fourth.
Yeah, okay. I like it. Yeah, fuck it. Kovalica on top. Pericles in for second. Testa Carousel into third. And Bois d'Argent to hold on for fourth at an enormous price.
God.
All right. Let's get through the rest of this Caulfield card. We want to go to race 4, the Jim Moloney Stakes. Listed race for the 3-year-old fillies, set weights and penalties. Does Silmarillion just go out and do it again? Yeah?
Yeah, she's better than these.
What about the Justify filly Lilac?
Well named.
Form behind Private Life, who goes around in the Caulfield Guineas Prelude. A nice performance there at Warwick Farm. Probably needs to step up to Silmarillion.
Needs to step it up, and Silmarillion would need to take a backward step to lose this race, so I know where I want to be.
Yeah, I agree. Not a race I have too much interest in.
Look, the $3.50 allows me to dive in comfortably. That's all I'll say.
Kendrick Lamar styles. Now, the Testa Rossa, race 5, 1,400 metre listed race, set weights and penalties. 2 horses, probably going towards a 2-rack handicap, I would have thought. Another Will v. Craig.
Apparently, Craig, Natalie Young was saying, is going to be scratched and saved for Sandown next week.
How much do you get for running second here? 30 grand. Yeah, okay. Fine, I'm not a trainer. What do I know?
I know nothing. Another Will should be putting these away. He's very short, though. And interesting to see where he gets to from gate 1. Do you want to dive into barely black odds? Or are you going to try and get him beat with some value?
Nah, I'll probably stay out now. Now that Craig's out. Like, I can entertain Buff at $27.
What's that to place?
Like
$4 or $5?
For a Ned's same race multi into 4th, like, I could see Buff running top 4.
Celine on, which is good.
Yeah, love that. So yeah, maybe Buff, but I don't know, Jimmy. What's this? A list race, Jimmy? But the bear can't win this race.
No, he can't.
So
what about Here to Shock?
Here to Shock, yeah.
Ran second to Another Will.
Yeah, he was good. $7, not the worst.
No.
Yeah. But no, I think Here to Shock wins this. I think Another Will wins this. I think he's rightful favourite in the 2-rack.
Yep.
So, all right. Now, for some reason, race 6 is a benchmark 100 race. I find that strange. I find it interesting that James Cummings brings down commemorative for this race, though.
Yeah, I think he's trying to do a similar thing to what he did with Pericles and just get a win on the board for her. $4.20, not a bad price. Chinny Boom has shifted from Clinton Taylor, a Rocky trainer, to the Moody and Coleman camp. With all due respect to Clinton Taylor, do you think that camp can unlock more of this horse?
Probably, with all due respect.
Yeah.
Like, Chinny Boom was a good winner in the Queensland Carnival.
She's got
well.
black type.
Yeah.
She's not the worst.
Yeah, she's good. You know who's not a bad shout in a race like this? And he can pop up his hoof every now and then. I think he's won at Flemington before. Let's have a look back here. Yeah, he has. Beating It's Our Time. So that's a rough form reference is Monmouth for Mitchell Beer.
Mitch Beer.
$34 this horse.
He can pop up.
If it is a soft track, that is no concerns for this horse. He likes it wet.
What about Jungle Hymn? Won a couple of times in a row for the Victim. These are better, though.
Yeah, so typical benchmark 100 race, they'll take their turn.
Yep.
Now, the MRC Foundation Cup 2,000 metres Group 3 Open Handicap. You see just fine come the Melbourne way of going. I got out of the casino with that horse.
Absolutely.
One of the great steals of all time. Miramasa, our guy's $14. Needs to be a good track.
If it's a good track, that's a good price for him.
Yeah, dog shit Johnny on. Not the greatest not the greatest jockey booking. And a lot of the things I like this weekend, unfortunately, have double digit barriers, like way out wide.
Yeah.
So that sucks. But, you know, we'll kind of move on. One horse I know you'll be keen on is the grey horse.
Grey horse.
The white horse.
St. George, number 15. Look, I think he finished 8th of 10th in the Heatherley Stakes listed race first up, and that was his first run in over a year. And you look at that and you think, ugh. But then you watch the replay and, like, he actually ran well. Bunch finished. So is it a form race? Yet to see. Why I want this horse to win is because your boy has a ticket for him at 50s in the Caulfield Cup, and he's currently $11 with the good people at Ned's. So for self-interest.
So he starts favourite sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, with all due respect to Jamie, not her best ride in the Heatherley. Not too much that she could have done, I don't think, but still there was probably a gap there. I would say, but you know, you want to protect his handicap rating, so that's fine. I feel like the connections would settle down after a while. Speaking of the connections of this horse, Aussie Kerr's he has 4 of them.
Yeah, the Aussie Kerr, Catanax Jewelers MRC Foundation Cup.
What caps are they going to wear? There's going to be different caps galore here. It's going to be tough. You know, there's a horse on the up who she definitely needs further. She's got a ticket into the Melbourne Cup, is the Map, I believe. She's not the worst in this.
No, she's not. Froggy on. Probably wanted to see her start out over further than 1,400 metres, though. So she jumped from 1,400 metres to 2,000 metres. So I just don't know how that setup's going to go. But no, she's certainly not the worst, and you're getting a good price.
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah, this is a race I found really difficult. Q Tempesta, my Italian guy up the top. He was a super Australian debut at a big price.
At a big Mick price.
So, yeah, I'm kind of staying out of this one. If it's a dry deck, Miramaster's getting my money. Yeah. Him and Gear Up. Gear Up's a good dry track horse as well.
Yeah.
The Nisham and Archibald.
Do you know what? It could be, if it's a dry track, it could be an Aussie Kier same race multi or a box try type play.
I think I'd settle for that.
Yeah,
now, this is one of the most fascinating races of the weekend for me, the Caulfield Guineas Prelude. Now, there could be one superstar in this race for me, and I reckon I'm going to be one of the few guys that actually talks about him.
Go on then.
Number one, depth of character. Saw this guy absolutely brain him in Brisbane. But I think this horse, watching his return to the trials and his career to date, he's super impressive. I think he has the quality to actually go on and potentially contend in a Caulfield Guineas, where he's $51. Had a look at his nominations in Group 1 races. They've put in a little throw at the stumps there at the Cox Plate, and it's 200 to 1 in that market.
So this is why you asked me about the deep fields today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do the deep fields do?
Oh, typically sprinter types, but that's not the be all and end all. Like, some of them stretch out. Portland Sky is by Deep Field on an Oakley plate for your boy. Mm-hmm. But no, there's certainly some that stretch out over further. But look at his damn side. Caricature by Power, British Stallion.
Please explain. Please go on.
We'll get out of it further.
Okay. All right.
So look, I think the fact that you've highlighted a horse that's $15 right now, 51s in the Caulfield Guineas and $200 in a Cox Plate. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be talking about that, mate.
So, Tommy Sherry only ride at Caulfield this weekend.
Interesting.
So, and I think he rides for the Nisham Archibald camp a fair bit, be it in track work or on the big stage. He rode that Redstone Well the other week. So, pardon me. So I think this could be a bit of an ambush by the Nisham camp, an Archibald camp. So I don't know. I kind of want to take on we've seen the second up syndrome kind of take its hold on a few horses this spring to date, and we'd see it pretty much every prep. But yeah, depth of character, I'm really keen on him at a big price. So please chuck him into your quadrellas.
Yes, good shout. Two horses I really want to watch in this race for mine. Number 2, Angel Capital, and number 10, Private Life. The Magic Man goes on Private Life for Chris Waller. Coolmore-owned horse. Interesting to see how he goes. So I've got a very high opinion of him. Angel Capital closed off like a talented horse when resuming in the Mackenzie Stakes, which is a listed race, and gave me every indication that he will love stepping up to 1,400 metres, which you would think as a 3-year-old would also mean he'll love the 1,600 metres in a Caulfield Guineas. So if he puts this field to the sword, he'll be starting very short in that race. He might not be favourite, obviously, with my guy, broadsiding, probably heading down that way. But Melbourne's always got a couple that they have a very high opinion of, and then the Sydney Colts just put him to the sword. Yeah. Maybe Angel Capital's going to be that guy.
Yeah, maybe.
But I hope for your sake, depth of character is that guy.
I hope so. The horse we haven't talked about is the other equal favourite, Wanarua. So Angel Glow knocked this guy off in the up-and-coming stakes on first up. So this horse beat home Snack Bar in 2/3 as well. Snack Bar we saw was just behind Lady Shenandoah on the weekend. So I think Wanarua from Barrier 1 probably leads this field. Depth of character will probably be getting back, but, if he can rein him in, he might be the one just absolutely give him a yahoo from yours truly.
Yahoo.
At $16.
Yeah.
What's the worst you can do?
There's nothing bad that can happen.
No, other than losing your money. Is that all?
That's all.
All right, let's go to Sydney. Now, Sydney, good races at Sydney. Race 5 is the Kingston Town. Fascinating market here. Now, Zardozi is in the 7 Stakes field as well, but she's got a jockey booking of Kieran McAvoy here, and she's drawn barrier 4 if she gets a run. She's second emergency. There's been one scratching of Francesco Gardi. I'm fascinated to see what you think of this field because I believe I kind of mapped it like the following, right? Let me check my notes. I had Serpentine from a low draw. You know, that horse knows no other way of running.
One of our guys.
Yeah. I think this is tougher though. Much tougher. Elias will probably get one of the runs of the race from barrier 1, so I'd say he's probably in the next pair, but basically on the rail. And then the rest of these they're either wanting further or they're not up to this grade. It's kind of a weird little contest here.
It really is. I think Elias, if you like it, at $4 is a price that you can take for him. This isn't his grand final, and he's heading to a Metrop. He's favourite in the Metrop, I believe.
Yeah.
From gate 1, Timmy Clark on, like he'll be prominent. So if you want to dive into $4, like absolutely. Cheer Wolf at $3.30 was very good last start in a benchmark 100. I don't know if he should be favourite in this race. J-Max got his work cut out for him.
Jumping up to 2,000 metres from 1,500. I don't know. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm guessing he's heading towards a Metrop as well. But I don't know. Like he ran super in the Derby, but I think maybe he might be more suited to 2,000 metres, but as his grand final. Do you know what I mean by that? Not as a third up race jumping from 1,500. So I'm happy to take him on in this race. There's a couple of horses at bigger prices that I might play around. The first one is number 16, Land Legend. Looked plain in that race against Cheer Wolf, but I think can bounce back as it gets out over to 2,000 metres. And also based on what he did the prep before over 2,600 metres when he beat Cleveland and stuff like that. So he could bounce back. He's $11. And number 14, Valiant King at an enormous price. Like he ran the Caulfield Cup fresh off the boat for Joseph O'Brien. He's now being trained by Chris Waller, obviously, in those Aussie Kiers Silks. Like, he ran super, all things considered, in that race in the Caulfield Cup.
Gelded.
Yeah, he's been gelded. Very good looking horse. 2,000 metres, like he could just come and jump out of the ground first up. So he's $35.
There's a horse here you've missed. So you're being asked to take $5 or $6 for Zardozi in this race, right? Where she's no guarantee.
No.
There is a horse that was 59 kilos in the same race. Zardozi was 56.5 from memory. She's 56 kilos here on equal weights with number 8, Adelaide River. And he was behind her and he went straight past her.
He did.
And you're taking double the price? I'll have a play.
Hello?
Like, at 1,600 metres, this horse, that was not suited. That was a great return from him.
Yeah, it was.
That was easily his best run in Australia to date. So, I'm more than happy to hope that Dylan Gibbons from Barry, this is Barry 16.
I think that's playing a part in the price. But, no, you're right. And, yeah, double the price. I think Zardozi, like, I couldn't bet on her again until I see it.
On a good track, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, especially like away from her own age.
Yeah.
So
4-year-old mares, mate.
Yeah. So Adelaide River is the play in the race for me at about that $10 to $12, and I want to see my boy Allegron run on as well. All right. Race 6 is the Bill Ritchie Handicap Group 3 Open Handicap. Now, chips in
on a horse, mate. Number 8, Gringotts.
Really?
$9.50.
Wow.
Mate, that is a play if I've ever seen it. $31 in the Epsom. I thought he was phenomenal last prep. with the 111. Yeah, we're talking Tamworth Cup, true. We're talking illicit races, Sky Racing members handicap. But he was so much better than them. So much better. And I can just see Kieran Maher just like he be working the house down and Kieran Maher's like the entire stable's on. You know what I mean? Gate 3, he can be prominent.
Yeah.
Lightly weighted in this race. Mm-hmm. He'll have no weight in Epsom. I think $9.50. I couldn't, honestly, when I was pricing the market up, but when I first saw acceptances for this race and before the prices were finalised, I was like, I reckon he'll be about $4. Like honestly,
yeah.
I was like, he won't be favourite, but I thought he'd be second favourite. And when I saw $9.50, I was like, well, I've got to play that. That's chips in. That's a play.
Okay, all right. I thought there was a decent amount of speed in this race. Thought Amenable goes forward, Fearson, Felix Majestic, and Gringotts has, to your point, is drawn to do zero work.
Zero.
Probably sits 4, either on the fence or in the next line. So he was one that I was contemplating. I'm going to put a little bit of cold water on that, but trust me, I'm on. I'm
$31 in the Epsom.
I know.
If he wins this, he won't be that price.
No, he won't be. So, and I'll Google in a second. Can you Google for me who won this race last year? I'm pretty sure I know who it is. So I didn't love his trials. But to be fair, I'm not across his entire trial form either. But another one, double-digit barriers.
I've got a one in 2022, top ranked actually.
So, was it Rodina last year? This race?
I'm trying to find it.
We're waiting.
Yeah, it was Rodina.
Yeah, and he absolutely spanked him. So on his way to an Epsom. So, I'm a believer now in Kitty Cat Tom Kitten, $3.10. I think, you know what I loved? There's a few things I loved about him. One, that he's gotten rid of his nuts. I loved that. And I loved that 1,400 metres first up, he, as Darren Flindell said, because I rewatched the replays, there's no excuses for Tom today at the top of the straight, and he put him away so easily.
Comfortably.
I think it's clicked for Tom. Barrier 15 does suck, but I'm kind of like offsetting these bad barriers with good jockeys. So J-Max on, I lose nothing. So the thing I really, really love for this horse is the gap between runs. 5 weeks between runs. We've seen him win dynamically first up over 11, might have been 1,300 2 preps ago. He won that race easily. First up this prep. Love the gap between runs. Tick over trial. I believe in Kitty Cat Tom.
Wouldn't shock me. This is a better race than the Underwood. Freedom Rally can run a race. Scarlet Oak is one to watch as well.
You know who's a big price in this race? Number 12, Matcha Latte.
Is a big price.
He has not won for 110 weeks, but he has had the ultimate gear change. He's been gelded, and he won his latest trial by 5.5 lengths to the likes of Star of India, who's also racing on the card, and Unspoken, who was a winning machine last spring.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say a name here for no other reason other than the fact that I just want your reaction. Number 13, Cafe Millennium.
He's gelded. Was he always gelded?
No.
When did he get gelded?
I was expecting more of a reaction.
I love that.
Because he's a big horse.
He is a big horse.
From gate 14, Zachy Lloyd's got his work cut out.
You just never know when that horse is going to rock up in a racing mindset.
Well, considering of his 11 starts, he's won once and placed once. Do you know what you're going to get? Probably absolutely nothing.
Well, I think that was at his very first start, right? His win?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and he brained him.
Brained him.
I
think he went into favouritism for I'm assuming
a size produce or something like that.
Yeah, where he did not much.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, this is a good little race.
Great race.
But I think Kitty Cat Tom is set up to win this.
What about for the podcast?
Amenable. Marcus Williams. He is on a path to a 5 diamonds.
Is he? Yeah, cash in.
Someone has to win it.
Cash in. Someone does have to win it. Should have Group 1 status, actually. Fuck. Unbelievable.
So I think he ran pretty well in a Stradbroke. So that form typically holds up,
Absolutely.
Typically, it always holds up. Now, the T-Rose Stakes. Fascinating. Group 2 for the 3-year-old fillies. Set weights. Very important, as we learned a couple of weeks ago. Manal Amina, round 3. This prep. And then you have the likes of Autumn Glow. Barrier 9 of 10. All the favourites, all the favoured runners are drawing out this week. Does it matter?
She's better than him. Barrier makes it harder. I think it'll be heart in your mouth stuff, but she'll get over the top of them with 50 to go. Am I diving in at that price? Absolutely not.
Manal's the bet in the race. Has to be.
Has to be the bet.
Barrier 6, will probably camp off him, has proven to have an electric turn of foot. Look at her Randwick form. 6 runs, 4 wins, 1/3. She probably appreciates a harder track than a softer deck. She's absolutely the bet in this race, Manal. 100%. Third up, just so many ticks.
It could be a case of she beats the Autumn Glow here and then Autumn Glow puts her to the sword in the Flight Stakes.
Mate, Manal wins the battle, Autumn Glow wins the war.
Absolutely.
At $1.80, you can't.
No. It's not a betting race for me. I'm not going to have a cent on in this race because I think if Autumn Glow is going to win, she's going to have to reel them in Ruby.
It's a horse I haven't heard of in a while. Mate, there's another horse that you haven't heard of in a while that I'm going to make a comparison of here. Number 3, Erno's Cube. Gives me big Canedna vibes. Same silks. Very similar coloured chestnut filly. Has a lovely running style. Just knuckles down. Is an absolute line chaser. Her career, 8 starts, 2 wins, 1 second, 2/3. She's so consistent.
She is.
She's probably been just behind, and she might have a bit of the traffic wardens about her. Maybe everything that she did is a 2-roll. It's just a bonus. Where first up, they've kept her fresh for this. Like Amina and Silmarillion and Manal have all gone around since, and she was the next in line there, beaten less than a length. So
she's only failed once.
Yeah,
she's run top 4 every single time.
Yeah, I think she's at $10. She needs to go into your quaddies to kick things off. I think. All right.
No, fair enough.
Now the 7 stakes, 9 runners for how much? Oh, only $1 million. Okay. Fangirl. Barrier 9.
J-Mac again.
$2.15 you're getting now. She's drifted out from $2 to $2.15. Are you having a play on Fangirl this weekend?
No. I was looking last night knowing that this race was coming up. And I'm not saying she's a myth, Fangirl. She's definitely not a myth.
No.
You know that she's only won twice at the mile? Is that like a Mandela effect for you? Do you know what I mean, though? Oh, yeah, she's an elite mile. It's like, well, she's only won twice.
Yeah, but she arguably won the best mile available last year.
No doubting that.
And not just win it, mate. She brained them.
No doubting that. She's a good tracker. She's only won once on a good track in her last 9 starts.
Yeah.
You can draw any statistics out about any horse and paint a picture. What I'm saying is, drifters, if you're looking at this race and you're thinking to yourself, good track, 1,600 metres, Fangirl, $2.15, chips in, I just look a bit deeper. That's what I'm saying. Because you can have certain narrative about horses. And that's the narrative I hear about Fangirl. Until I looked last night, I believed it too. Oh, yeah, elite good tracker, elite miler. It's like, well, in actuality, if you read the numbers, yes, she's been racing in elite class her entire career. But at $2.15 in this race, no thank you.
Yeah. Like
no thank you. Especially with gate 9. You know where she's going to be.
Yeah. Like she'll be running into the top 3, I'd imagine.
I would imagine so.
And then, you look at her stats at Group 1 level. So 15 starts, 3 wins, 4 seconds and a third. She'll probably get another stat in there, I believe. Like, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah. Number 3, Royal Patronage.
Love this guy. And
It was a phenomenal return after
yeah, I know. 59 weeks.
59 weeks.
Do you want to hear some of the form that this horse has?
Yeah, for sure.
So he defeated a horse called Cerebras.
Cerebras.
Yeah. That horse went on to win 2 Group 1s and a Group 3, a Royal Ascot, a Newmarket, like one of Godolphin's best middle distance horses, and he actually went a miss up, I believe, on the track. But that is absolutely elite form. Elite form.
To win like that first up over 1,400 meters, like it was an up and in sort of day at Randwick. Like you wanted to be forward and you wanted to be in a good lane, but I still think he did awfully well, and Amelia's Jewel couldn't run him down. Do you think he could be a bit flat second up after a first up run like that?
That's my concern, because he's the one I found as well. And it's like, is there speed in this race? Detonator Jack goes forward. Navajo Peak. Major Beal, I think, is probably one of the best roughies in the race because there isn't that much speed. And he sprinted very well fresh over the 1,600, beating a Dross field. But
Dross.
But Royal Patronage was the one that I was like, oh, this horse can go forward. He'll be bloody hard to beat. But that concern after such a long let off, I think he could be a bit flat. And $6 is probably getting into skinny territory.
Skinny. I said this before the Wink Stakes. I said Zugotcha, if she's going to beat this lot, she needs to do it first up over 1,400 metres because I beat her over a mile. I'm looking at this race and I'm not so sure now. I think from that gate, sitting just behind the likes of Royal Patronage, she'll be, you know where she's going to be in the running, and Fangirl, is going to have to make up some ground on her. You know that because we've seen enough of Zugotcha to know that she's going to jump well enough and she's going to be in the first third. And is the mile her best distance? I don't think so, but is it good enough to still win this race? I think so. So I'm going to bet into her at $4.20 because I think the race just sets up really well for her. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that she's not jumping into this, 2 weeks after Wink Stakes. She's coming into it relatively fresh. And so is Fangirl for that matter. But might have a bit of a change of tune after this race, depending on what happens. But I think this is the time that she can get Fangirl over a mile.
Mm. Yeah.
What about your boy Detonator Jack?
Not the worst.
Not the worst.
I think the Detonator, he's best when he's got a little bit of cutout, I reckon. And he's like a 1,600 to 1,800 metre horse, I believe. Like, he's run 3 times in the mile from 6 attempts. I don't think he's up to this grade. I think he'll run a super race, no doubt. I kind of want to go with the horse with some upside, like Royal Patronage. So that horse, who it reminded me of? Tried American horse for Waterhouse Bot, like Conte Petiro, the mare that came over.
Oh yeah,
won the Queen of the Turf and the Coolmore. He's like a male version of that.
He's still got his nuts.
Yeah. So
interesting enough,
which I love to see. So I'm kind of siding with Royal Patronage. I just think the tactical advantage, and here's this 7 stakes field from last year. Think About It won it. Zaki second. Fangirl third. My Oberon, Zyrek, Going Global, Hu Ya Mal, Fireburn, Diamil, Arapaho, Hinged. It's a very similar field in a lot of ways. Half of them are going around again. So Zugotch is probably behind, I don't know. How much has she won? 2.6, Fangirl 7.8. Holy shit.
That's the second place in a Golden Eagle. I'll help you out with that.
Yeah. It's almost an argument between, I guess, like the argument for Fangirl versus Zugotcha is Fangirl has won Group 1s or a Group 1 against the boys and brained them. Where
Fangirl's best run over a mile will put lengths on Zugotcha. Yeah. But I don't think we see that often enough from her. That's my point. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think Zugotcha, she goes to a level that I think is there or thereabouts where she runs every time she goes around. I think she's super consistent. Fangirl's best is better, no doubt. But I think Zugotcha's consistent level is slightly better than Fangirl on maybe a slightly off day.
Okay. I think that's a fair call. Now we're finishing things off here with the Jack Pride short stakes, 1,100 metres, Group 2, set weights and penalties. He has Private Eye, Marzu, what else he has here? Coal Crusher and Dragonstone. Couldn't believe it. A lot of them. How many of those would have started with him? Maybe one of them. He's always had Private Eye, right?
He's always had Private Eye, I'm pretty sure. But I couldn't be absolutely certain.
Now, I have a question for you before we get into this race. Is Lady of Camelot the worst placed horse in Australia this weekend? 55 kilos she has.
She's a 3-year-old filly.
Oof. I saw that, and if you're betting on her this weekend, you are an absolute sicko.
People will. I don't know how to play this race, mate.
I don't. Me neither. I came back to I Me. I hate that because she's had 22 career starts, 10 wins. I don't think I've ever backed her, ever, for a win. No. I cannot catch her.
No. Look, I think I'm with you, though, and I think it's because of the 1,100 metres, the fact that she returns super and she gets J-Mac and she gets a good gate. And I don't think I've liked any horse that J-Mac's on this entire card, except for the Autumn Glow, but even then, if she wins, I don't think it's going to be put into the sword type win. If she does, look out. So J-Mac didn't ride any winners last Saturday in Sydney. You're telling me that he's going 2 weeks in a row without a winner? Like, in the feature races I'm talking, I think this is the one where he can. So, yeah, I'm with you, but not overly confident. But I agree, Lady of Camelot, gross. Gross in this particular race. Yeah. If she wins, she'll be an Everest runner.
Oh, it has to be. I think that's why they're having to throw at the stunts, but she is horrifically placed here. Just at the weights against this company, this is probably a better field than the Moir, with all due respect to Mornington Glory. So I could see Me lining up and, being competitive in a Moir Stakes, Private Eye, Daft Cabin, Steffi Magnetica. So Steffi Magnetica is probably the X factor. The Stradbroke winner, we typically see that form. There's already 2 subsequent winners from that race. You see it every time. So I reckon she can run super, but I think Me, match fitness, sticking to the 1,100 as you said, or rather stepping up to the 1,100. I think soft draw. There's a lot of ticks there. The interesting runner down the bottom, One by Muse.
Yes,
quick backup.
Yeah, and was super. Last start against Sunshine in Paris, set a hot speed. Will she get the same?
Probably not.
But T Berry from Gate 1, I've seen stranger things. I can't bet in this race. Will I end up betting in this race? Probably. But I'm really sorry, Jack, but I've got nothing really against the horse, but I'd love to see Private Eye not win.
I can definitely see Private Eye win. It's his last win on a racetrack.
Yeah, I know.
This time last year.
But I'd like to see him not win.
I could see him do the exact same thing, 3 wide, no cover, doing it the hard way. He ran bloody well in 2 Everest doing that. He's a bloody good horse on his day, Private Eye. At the distance, 3 tries, 2 seconds. I think if I have a chat to the Sydney source and he can't bring himself to put Me on top, it'll probably be Private Eye. Daft Cabin has life. Absolute life.
You couldn't possibly.
I would put him in a quaddie for insurance, and that's all. Because if he was to win, I would be physically ill.
How often does J-Mac get down to 55 kilos? Or is it more like 54?
I think 54 is like the
limit for him, yeah.
It's the limit, but also I think he rides over anyway.
That's what I mean. It says 55 kilos here from me. Wouldn't be surprised if he's 56. But anyway. Weird race to nearly end the program in Sydney. Wouldn't be surprised to see something weird pop up there.
And you know what it kind of says to me is that this Everest field, these tried and true sprinters, they are just going to kind of chop and change. I think you want the new guard heading to an Everest.
Absolutely, except for one mare who was picked up this week by
Team Green.
Team Green. So well found by
and the reason
Dan Hutchin.
Reason that you said was she's the punter's horse, which she absolutely is.
She is.
Bella Nipotina, so
she can run top 4 on Everest without a doubt.
Absolutely.
And I think with what we've learned about her over the last 12 months is she's probably more consistent than the rest of them.
Yeah. Which is wild to say. To be fair, like before she started to become a winning machine, that's in italic.
I don't think she's even
marks.
gotten to double figures in wins yet.
Yeah.
But anyway.
From 50 starts.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, she's running in the top 3, top 4. Very, very consistent. Love to own her. My God.
Gut.
All right. I think that's about it.
Yeah. Sheesh.
A lot to cover. An hour of the best.
Yep.
All right.
Big weekend. There's still some value to be found. We did a pretty good job last week. So yeah, moving day.
Yeah, I think so. Sunday's the Flemington program that I got Miramaster last year. Yeah, so this is when I really got moving last year.
Yes, absolutely.
There was a lot of dominoes falling.
There really was.
There was football teams making grand finals. There was a scramble to get tickets to that grand final.
Yeah, it was a hectic week.
There was Manikato Stakes nights to attend, seeing the best sprinter on the planet. There was Pride of
Track records.
There was Pride of Jenny being
unearthed,
being knocked off by Amelia's Jewel before Pride of Jenny was Pride of Jenny.
Yeah,
It was good stuff.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal weekend apart from the result. But maybe that will change this year.
Saw a mate of mine who's also a Lions fan, got married to his partner, and he did basically a wrap-up post at the end of the year. And the quote was 5 points away from a perfect year. It was literally like that last year.
It really was.
So anyway, we'll be back on Sunday, hopefully donning all the Lions gear. Give them strength.
Let's go the Lions and let's go the Group 1 tipping comp.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for it, drifters.
Yeah. Let's do it.
See yous.